overtime pay. We're talking the overtime play. The big stories, the big plays, the big drama. We got Jared B and Johnny O. Jared B and Johnny O. Jared B and Johnny O. Jared B and Johnny O.
Welcome to episode 51 of Overtime with Jared P. and Johnny O. We're going to talk about our top 10 NFL receivers going into this season, our thoughts on what executives think and scouts and coaches of the top 10 NFL receivers. Do we have any disagreements? There's somebody missing from the list. And also we're going to talk about the media's obsession with the Dallas Cowboys. And no matter how bad they are, they're the top story every single day. And maybe our thoughts on that and how we can stop doing that. That and more. But let's get started with our title sponsor. Johnny, what's up?
Okay, still Estate Jewelry and Loan. Something old, something new. Estate Jewelry has a great selection of new and estate jewelry, and you can really find a nice, unique piece in Brian's showroom. It's a cool little local jewelry store here in Greensboro. Estate Jewelry, diamonds, and watches. Check them out at 2511 Battleground Ave in Greensboro, and also at estatejewelryloan.com. Please go visit Brian at his store, and please tell him that we sent you. And also Salsarita's Fresh Mexican Grill, located in High Point at the Palladium and in Greensboro in the Target Shopping Center on New Garden Road. He's got a food truck, catering. He's got daily specials, good lunch specials, and you can find the menu on salsaritas.com.
All right. So we have the executives, the coaches, scouts, ranking their top 10 NFL wide receivers going into this season. We did this with the quarterbacks, and we had some disagreements, at least with the list and some with each other. But Johnny, what do you want to kick it off? What do you see? What do you want to say about these receivers?
Well, let's go down the list, I guess, for their top 10.
Okay.
And I'll start at 10, I guess. Garrett Wilson as the 10th best. Let me just read them off real quick. I'll start from number 1. I'll read them off. Jamar Chase, number 1. Justin Jefferson, number 2. Tyreek Hill, number 3. C.D. Lamb of the Cowgirls, number 4. A.J. Brown of my defending champion Eagles. Number 6 is Amon-Ra. How do you say his last? St. Brown from the Lions. How do you say his name? Amon-Ra St. Brown?
Yeah. Sounds good to me.
Malik Neighbors from the Giants, number 7. Okay. He's got Russell Wilson thrown to him this year. Nico Collins from the Texans. Mike Evans, tremendous wide receiver with the Buccaneers. And Garrett Wilson, number 10 they have from the New York Jets with Justin Fields this year. I don't know. Wow. I question it a little bit here. From the top, Jamar Chase, that's hard to argue. That dude he's the best, I think. And he's got freaking Broadway Joe thrown to him, so he's going to be just fine. And he just re-signed with Cincinnati. I think he's happy. So Jamar is, and they were teammates, right, at LSU. Am I saying that right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yep. That is a dynamic duel, and we'll see if Joe Burrow can get him to the playoffs, I should say. But Jamar is going to be very helpful. Number 2, Justin Jefferson. That's hard to argue. Wow, another LSU guy. My gosh.
I know.
He's got J.J. McCarthy and backup Sam Howell to throw him the ball this year. I question Tyreek Hill at number 3. I think he's starting to age a little bit. Of course, he's still fast as hell, but at number 3, I'm not sure. I would probably put C.D. Lamb up to number 3. Even put A.J. Brown, which is number 5 on the list, to number 4. St. Brown, number 6. I mean, he's outstanding, and he's got Jared Goff throwing to him, but I don't think he's at number 6. I would put Mike Evans at number 6. This guy has, I think it's 10 or 11 straight years of over 1,000 yards receiving. Right. He's consistent. He stays in the lineup. He's deadly, in the red zone. Absolutely deadly. They go to him, and they know they're going to him, and he still scores all the time. So I would put him up in that number 6 spot. I would move Malik Neighbors down to 10 and put Garrett Wilson in that 7 spot. And I get St. Brown at 8. Again, because he's, Jared Goff is going to find him all day long, all year long. And Nico Collins, I would scoot down a little bit. I expect CJ Stroud to have another big, his sophomore year was a little off. I think he had some injuries. It wasn't that off, but he was just so his rookie year. But I think he'll be back as his 3rd year with a Nico Collins. That dude can catch the ball. So I don't mind him there, okay? But and then I'm going to let you go with this.
Yeah.
The honorable mentions, these 3, I think, deserve to be in the top 10, but I just don't know who to knock out. Terry McLaurin, I mean, are you kidding me? If he plays, if they pay him, they better pay him. This Puka Nacua from the Rams is a stud, and I would not want my defense guarding that guy. So he's hard to keep out of the top 10. And look out for DK Metcalf with the Steelers. His first year with the Steelers, and he's, Aaron Rodgers is gonna be looking for him desperately, I think. So I think DK is going to have one hell of a year. So those 3 as honorable mentions could easily be in my top 10. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think, obviously every receiver you named would be, I think teams would be happy with them as their number 1 receiver. So I'm just going to do my 10 to 1 because there's some that I think it's not always the case. Not always, because we're talking about receivers' skills, but you mentioned a little bit, like who's throwing them the ball. And if you're on a team where it's a rookie quarterback you don't know, then, but if we can just go by who is the projected starter right now, I'll start from number 10 and go to 1. Number 10, I agree with you. You had honorable mention, Terry McLaurin. I'm a Commanders fan, so I've seen it firsthand. Since he's been in the league, he's had basically a quarterback every year, and all he does is produce. And then you get him a quarterback with Jaden Daniels, and the rest of the world is saying, oh, this guy is ridiculous. This is a great stat. He leads the league with 89 contested catches since 2020. I mean, you throw it in space, he's got you, but he doesn't have to be open. He makes himself open, and every quarterback would love to have someone that, you have to throw those balls. There's Johnny, if you haven't watched it yet, Quarterbacks Season 2. Yeah. Netflix. Have you watched that?
I watched the first episode so far.
They have a episode. It's like Now or it's called Now or Never, and it's with Burrow that season. Burrow, Golf, and Kirk Cousins are the quarterbacks they focus on. Yep. And they basically said they're now or never throws that, like, either you got to throw now or never. You throw it or get sacked, and sometimes intercepted, and they're getting crushed. And then you have a receiver like Terry McLaurin. He's somebody you want when it's a now or never throw. If you're going to throw it, he's going to make you look good. At number 9, you had, I think it's an honorable mention. I have him in the list at number 9 is Mike Evans. Same reasons you said. He's consistent. He has 11 consecutive seasons with 1,000 yards receiving. They're going to throw the ball a lot with Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is playing better than ever. They're in a otherwise weak division. And he's 6 foot. He's all of his 6'5", 6'6", long, and he's another guy that you can count on.
I actually had him number 6. I moved him up to.
Oh, you did? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I love that guy, man. I think he's underrated. He really is.
Yeah. No, it's like he's won a Super Bowl with Tom Brady. He looks good with Baker Mayfield, and he he gets his yards. Now, granted, it was like the last play of the regular season to get his 1,000 yards last year, but he did it. Something you count on. At number 8, I still think Tyreek Hill is a weapon. He's fast. Is Tua going to be healthy? I think if Tua is healthy the entire season, this year he's going to put up massive numbers. It's just hard because anytime, he has obviously with Mahomes, but anytime he's had a competent quarterback, he just puts up massive numbers. He just takes the top off. He stretches the offense. He's a nightmare to deal with. Plus, you can use him in short yardage. I mean, he's a guy that, you could throw that bubble pass to, and he can take it to the house.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing with you.
Okay. Nico Collins, I don't know a lot about him with Houston, except for he's posted back-to-back seasons with just incredible numbers. And I think Pro Football has him ranked in the 90s back-to-back seasons as a receiver. And he has, I think, the second best receiving grade against one-on-one coverage. So you start seeing that. You see a young quarterback. He had a step back last year, but had an excellent rookie campaign. And then, a little bit of step back last year. I think Nico Collins is going to be fine. Number 6, I have CeeDee Lamb. I think people know what they got with CeeDee Lamb. And again, with a healthy Dak Prescott should put up much bigger numbers this year. And I agree with you. At number 5, I have him in my top 5, Puka Nacua, if he can stay healthy. And I know availability is part of your ability, but if he can stay healthy, because he's pushing a 2-year total of 3,000 yards receiving when he's healthy. He's not the biggest, he's not the fastest, but he gets open.
He's open. He's that guy that when the quarterback's ready to get sacked, they throw it, and he's going to catch that sucker somehow.
Yeah. Number 4, I have St. Brown of the Lions. I'm curious. I mean, he's another guy now he's fast, and he gets open, and he can also take it to the house. It'll be interesting to see if the Lions take a step back without Ben Johnson as their offensive coordinator. That's going to be very interesting because sometimes that happens where we're like, wow, look at this team. And they're like, why are they not good this year? And they're like, oh, their OC's gone. Yeah. But hopefully they can keep that going.
Yeah.
And then my top 3, I have Justin Jefferson at number 3. This dude is just a stat stuffer. But I'm worried with the quarterback situation there, but he gets open. It seems like whether it's Kirk Cousins or whoever's throwing him the ball, is Sam Darnold last year. He made Sam Darnold look like the MVP for half the last season.
That's how good he is. He can make any quarterback look good.
At number 2, I have Jamar Chase. If you watch that quarterback season 2, they do a lot with Burrow and Chase. That dude, I just forget how fast he is. He's just elite quickness. And he gives Joe Burrow a lot of credit for how intelligent Joe Burrow is. But as a receiver, Jamar Chase is super intelligent. I mean, they'll talk about these routes. And they're like, all right. And Burrow's like, okay, on this one, I'm going to throw this ball a little flat. So I'm going to throw it flat. It's going to be right over your left shoulder. And that dude is sick. I mean, he might be my favorite receiver. But the person I have at number 1, I'm shocked. Maybe you had me in your top 10, and I missed it. There's a lot of numbers going here, a lot of different receivers, and we're going pretty quick. He is the only player in the NFL that if he plays, his team always wins, at least the last 2 seasons, especially last season.
I had him 4. I had him number 4 here.
Okay. A.J. Brown of the Philadelphia Eagles. When he plays, they win. What did I say last year? I said, did A.J. Brown play? Yes, they're going to win. And it's like, and I didn't want that to happen. It just is the case.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy is special. He's big. He's strong. He's intelligent. He's so talented. He gets bored and reads books on the sidelines. But
that's right.
And that's with Jalen Hurts for the most part having a mediocre passing regular season.
Right.
If they let the ball loose more, I mean, I think he's going to put up huge numbers. So I have A.J. Brown number 1, but I would take any of these players on my team as my number 1 receiver.
And you got to throw in, okay, you mentioned, my man A.J. Brown. On the other side, you got Devontae Smith. He should be close to this damn list, Yeah. I mean, a Heisman Trophy winner. And then you mentioned Jamar Chase. Who's on his other side? T. Higgins. Those are scary dynamic duels right there, man.
I would definitely have both those as honorable mentions. And we'll see. Yep. There'll be some rookie receiver that will surprise everyone. But as known quantities, I mean, I think both our lists are strong. All right, let's thank our other sponsors. We have Surf Hippie Fishing, surfhippiefishing.com. That's with a PH. All your fishing apparel, fishing gear, tournaments, everything, surfhippiefishing.com. And then we have Elite Performance Chiropractic, former NFL player Jeremy Phillips. We're going to get him on here right before the start of the NFL season. He's been on several times. Get you back feeling better than ever. State-of-the-art technology and techniques. With 2 locations, Greensboro and Winston-Salem, Elite Performance Chiropractic.
And we got Schenck and Torrance Insurance located in Greensboro, but they serve the entire Triad in state. Brian Torrance specializes in personal insurance, including auto, homeowners, and life insurance. You can reach him at 336-310-1320. Tell him the boys from Overtime sent you, and he will take good care of your insurance needs. And then you got Tee It Up Indoor over here on Battleground Ave with his 3 simulators. Davis Troxler running a nice little show over there on these real hot days or rainy days. What a time to go over there. And all you have to do is mention Jared P. or Johnny O, and you get a free half hour. You got to tell them that you heard it here, and you got some free golf over there for 30 minutes in one of those nice simulators.
Excellent. We got to go do that too. That'd be a lot of fun. All right. So I'll let you handle this one, but I'm on board with you. What is the deal with the Dallas Cowboys? The lead story almost every day on major networks.
Every day. It's mostly ESPN. Okay. I mean, we complained about it last year. It's an ongoing thing. I mean, I got a question. Does Jerry have some money invested in ESPN where they have to talk about them? Jerry remember when Mark Cuban, I'm giving Jerry a lot of credit. I mean, because he gets gets them talking about him, but it's the first damn story every morning. We've been through a few mornings here because someone hasn't signed. Okay. Who hasn't signed? I can't even think of his name. I'm Micah so upset here. Micah Parsons. Probably the best. Micah Parsons. Probably the best defensive player out there. There's no doubt. He does have one more year at $24 million, but he's somewhat holding out. But he's there practicing a little bit, and now all of a sudden he's got a little back problem. But Jerry gets on there and talks about him. Well, we haven't signed him yet. He did the exact same thing last year with Dak. Remember, all the way until the game day of the season start. He waited and signed him then so they would talk about it the whole entire time. It reminds me of Mark Cuban back at, when he owned the Mavericks at the beginning, back in the, early 2000s or whatever. He kept getting technical fouls as an owner, okay, and then getting suspended. And then they would, from the NBA, and getting fined, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And then they would interview him after the game, and they'll say, hey, Mark, what's going on? You've been fined $650,000 this year. And he looked at that announcer and he said, that's the cheapest advertisement I could ever ask for. He goes, because you guys you talk about us every day. And they needed it back then because he was trying to build that franchise. Jerry's still doing it. He's had it for 30 years. Hasn't done crap in the last 30 years. But he's got that thing going. But real quick, Sports Center, opening story, Get Up. I don't even know why I turn it on. They love the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, they go from the opening story, and then they'll mention, oh, by the way, Ohtani hit a home run. Let's go back to the Cowboys. They just continue. First take when Stephen A is on vacation, that's all they talk about is the Dallas Cowboys, because Stephen A kind of thinks like us for some reason. He hates the Cowboys, but when he talks about them, it's kind of funny because he gets on them. The only 2 shows that I can actually watch and enjoy, and I don't know if you get to watch them, Pat McAfee show he has widespread. He talks about everything, all kinds of
Right.
sports. Plus, he's hilarious. And pardon the interruption with Tony and Wilbon. Those two are the best in the business, and they go right down the line. But what are they doing, man? I can't take it anymore. And a Cowboy fan will say, "Well, hey, we're America's team, this and that," and we're talking about them. They have done nothing for 30 years, and they're the most popular team in the NFL. Talk to me. I'm out of breath, man. I'm so upset.
Well said. And Johnny, you're right. And it's like, is it the chicken or the egg thing? Like, they're talking about them because they are America's team, or they used to be America's team, and then because they keep talking about them, they're seeing good ratings numbers. They're seeing some back end analytics, or would that still be the case if they focused and had more compelling stories about things that are actually going on? I think it's pure laziness by the sports media. They go, all right, well, anytime we talk about the Cowboys, they're kind of polarizing. We get these good numbers, but they don't know what the numbers would be or the analytics would be with social media and all the different things. That's all the package now. If we talked about something else, or we talked about the Eagles, or we talked about actually things that are going on that are important. But you're right. They have done nothing in the last 30 years. In 30 years, they've won 8 playoff games.
Oh my gosh.
Not been to the playoffs 8 times. That's 8 playoff games. And I think that includes 95. I think they won 2 or 3 playoff games that won. They lost 13 in the last 30 years. Wow. And their overall record is 263 and 221, slightly above 500. And I believe in the last 25 years, they're 500, is my understanding. But we're talking about a team, a franchise that for the last 30 years is mediocre. Yeah. Johnny, to back you up, I saw a stat that they are the last. They had the longest drought from being going to the NFC Championship of any team in the NFC.
They do. That's right.
Because
oh my gosh,
you got Philadelphia. You just name any NFC team.
Panthers been to a couple, 3 of them.
Yes.
Washington
went last year, so that helped them. Eagles, of course, have won multiple Super Bowls.
Giants.
Rams.
Yes, Seattle Rams. I mean, all these teams. No, but except for the Cowboys. They have not been to an NFC championship game in close to 30 years.
Since 1995.
But they're the top story. Okay, how can they be the top story? When you got the Kansas City, when you got Philadelphia, the Super Bowl champs, that's all they should be saying. What's going to happen to Philadelphia? How are they going to repeat? But all they want to know is, how can Dallas beat Philadelphia and knock them off? It's mind-boggling.
If you think about it, if we just do recent history, sports media nationally for the most part, and let's do top 3 type stories. Usually, and in baseball, they do a lot of Dodgers thing, but they have a compelling story. They have the best player in maybe all time in baseball, and Shohei Ohtani. So that makes sense. Yeah, it's a bigger market. That helps here and there. That's changed a lot with social media, but it doesn't have to be that way. You hear about the Lakers a lot. Well, you do have the great player playing now.
Right.
Yeah, sure. They did. So that makes sense to me. At least you had someone that's the greatest player. Recently, he won championship a couple of years ago, and he's still arguably one of the top 10 players in the NBA, and he will go down as one of the greatest players. So, I could see him talking about the Lakers a lot. Caitlin Clark, she is the most talented player in the WNBA. That makes sense, and she's sensational in the way that she plays. Then you have the Cowboys, which we just said in the last 30 years haven't been good, and they're still talking about that. That doesn't make any sense to me. The other things make sense. They're not good, and they won't be good this year. Were they going to finish 3rd in the NFC East?
Probably. I hope so. But who knows? The Giants might get ahead of them. But it pains me. I still have to give Jerry Jones credit, though. The guy, he's closing in on, what is he, 85? Right? He's up there. And the thing is, on these opening stories, he's the GM of that team. They are showing him. He's the face of the Dallas Cowboys. He is a narcissist, man. Obviously, it's all about him. He fired Jimmy Johnson, one of the greatest NFL coaches in the history, but got rid of him because he was winning Super Bowls and was getting the credit for it. It bugged the hell out of Jerry Jones, and Jimmy Johnson was one of his best friends up till that point. And now, 30 years later, he's up on the podium, saying, well, Micah Parsons, we haven't signed him, he could get hit by a car in the next he said that. He could get hit by a car in the next
what?
But he's the face of it, and it's all about him. And until he dies, nothing's going to change, because I'm sure his kids are going to probably be just like him.
Well, yeah. And the one thing, like you said, give Jerry Jones credit. He bought the Dallas Cowboys relatively dirt cheap. He is a true self-made, everyone has help, but rags to riches story, played college football and all this stuff. But he took a lot of risks with finances, and he faced bankruptcy, all these things. And now he's, a very wealthy man, has been for years. And that Dallas, I think the thing that hurt him the most, he owned the Cowboys for 2 or 3 years before they went back-to-back championships. And then basically his first 6 years of owning the Cowboys, he wins 3 Super Bowls. I think he got in his head, and he has not been able to. He thought it was him. No, it was Jimmy Johnson. It was other people. It was Jimmy Johnson, really. Jimmy Johnson pulled off the greatest heist in NFL history with that trade with Herschel Walker. And people were like, oh, we can do that? We can take one guy and parlay him into, all these future draft picks that turn into Hall of Fame players. Easier said than done. But, if he would have, they could have had many Super Bowls. I'm glad they don't. We both are NFC Easters, if that's such a term. But I will give him the credit for that and the promotion and being a great showman and entertainer. And you want him to brand your stuff, because clearly he can brand a turd for the last 30 years. And people are consuming it. We're talking about, but we're just doing a reflection thing. We're not talking about the Cowboys every week unless they deserve it. This is more commentary on the media. And then I will give him a little side note. I don't know if we mentioned this on the podcast before, but in Landman with Billy Bob Thornton, he made a cameo as himself. Landman talks a lot about the oil business and stuff. And he came in as Jerry Jones. And he has like a 5-minute scene where it's just him talking, pretty much a monologue to John Hamm while he's in the hospital. Go to YouTube, Johnny.
I got to check it out.
He has acting chops, because sometimes they'll say, well, just be yourself. That'll be easy. Sometimes that's hard. You're in your head like, how would Jerry Jones act like? It is really good. There's some humor, a lot of emotion. And I'm like, Jerry Jones is a good actor. And that makes sense.
Oh, my gosh.
Because he's pretending their team's good every year. So I guess he's had history.
Good stuff. I mean, but please, ESPN, I'm sure there's a couple of ESPN executives watching our show, this week. Please just change it up a little bit. Make them the 3rd or 4th story at least. My gosh. And give the Eagles and give the Commanders more love. I mean, the Commanders are the talk. That's the team that's going to give the Eagles headaches this year for sure.
Oh, absolutely. There's a million stories in the NFL that are more compelling and deserve, a lot of attention. But all right, Johnny, great episode. I'll give credit where credit's due too. Johnny picked the topics today, 2 excellent topics, and you brought it. So I appreciate it.
Good stuff, man. See you next week.
All righty.
Overtime pay. We're talking the overtime play. The big stories, the big plays, the big drama. We got Jared and Johnny.